Hello, everyone. It has been a fantastic start to the 2022-2023 school year. I can't thank everyone enough for all the hard work that's gone into making this the start of the best school year ever. Also excited today to show you some of the cool things that we have going on in the area of safety and security, and show off some of our new facilities at the renovated and expanded Northgate High School campus. Please stay tuned for a ton of great information on an exciting start to the school year.
Coweta County School System just completed an 18-month, $23.3 million renovation, modification, and addition to Northgate High School, expanding its capacity and reinvigorating staff, teachers, and students. A new classroom wing for arts and academics showcases the expansion.
It's a much larger space, a lot more storage for us, well acoustically designed. We got some new sound paneling in. The kids are really enjoying it, and it's a much better fit for the program.
Well, it provides them a space to work as a team and use their brain in a different capacity than maybe they do in their other classes. You're never really singled out by yourself, so you can learn skills on an individual level, but in a safe community group. So it provides sort of like a team atmosphere, but it also gives kids an expressive outlet. So they're learning music, but they're also making friends. So it's not just we sing for the entire 90 minutes. We're doing other creative projects as well.
Keep your head up.
It's a little bit more of a lighthearted environment. They can listen to music and have their, be in their own little headspace, or they can engage in conversation with their classmates, so it's a different type of learning environment. But they're also learning how to interact with one another and be, active, engaged learners.
I am the caterpillar kiddo, your wonder of wonders.
A new adventure. That's the best thing. I went to Northgate, so I graduated in 2008, and then I came back, and so I've been in the old room for 10 years. So I'm excited for a new adventure. I'm excited to build something and grow something new in this room.
Croquet is so 19th century. I want to play Simon Says.
And then something else that we're wanting to do is to have actual productions in the classroom. So to be able to put 40 to 50 bodies in the room as they're watching a show.
It gives us the opportunity, we host a marching contest here, it gives us the opportunity to have a much better facility to do that with the new room. It just gives us a lot of expansive opportunities.
So we can have several things happening at once in different areas of the classroom, and the actual room lends itself to ensemble rehearsal a lot better. It's a lot more flexible space because it was designed for this type of use. So we can have an actual choir rehearsal versus standing in a group and kind of piecing it together.
Oh, it's a great feeling. We finally got something we feel like is worthy of the kids and the work that they've done and the program that they've built. So it's fun to have a building and a facility that reflects that.
And so to have a real space, I'm so grateful, but it's very overwhelming because I can say, go grab a music stand, and there's an entire 40 music stands to pick from, whereas we had like 3 broken ones before.
It allows me an opportunity to teach better and allows the students a better opportunity to learn, and they feel special in here. Does that make sense? You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, because I think they feel special when they walk in and welcomed, and like it's a real art room. And as an artist, it's important to have a studio space and a studio feeling, and I think it makes them more apt to be engaged in the process, because it's like, oh, we're in a real art room, let's make art. I just think it makes for a much happier learning environment and nurturing environment. So.
we're joined now by Northgate High School Principal Ashley Wilkes. Ashley, welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here today. And Ashley, we just saw a pretty cool feature that showcases some pretty awesome new facilities at Northgate. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We were really excited to open our 600 building, and it's made an impact for our whole entire campus. It's bigger, it's brighter, has given us the space that we need to expand, and we're excited to get in there and start classes.
Yeah, and this is where I got to get my plug in, of course, all funded by East Splost.
Yes.
So we were able to go in with East Splost funds that were approved by voters in the community and renovate spaces, renovate the entire campus, but also add to the campus. Talk specifically about that 600 wing. What all's in there?
Well, it encompasses a lot, actually. It has our new band room, which is larger to, again, help our growing campus because our numbers are growing in band. It has our new theater space, our new chorus space, 4 additional classrooms, 2 art rooms, and 2 science rooms. So it's really all encompassing in one building.
Yeah, and you mentioned a couple of growing programs, and this allows us the ability to grow the campus overall. How many students you have there now?
Absolutely, right at 2,000. So we're up in numbers, but it's been great, and I think it speaks to, like you mentioned too, the renovations. One of the pieces we're making the hallways larger. So it was things that were put into place before the growth. So once we added those additional students, it was very seamless, and it's been a great transition.
Yeah, finally over that 2,000 mark. I know that's something you guys have been gearing toward for a while, and this allows you the ability to grow even more than that.
More, right? And we have new students enrolling every single day, and so we still have some spaces that we can utilize when we grow classrooms for the next couple years, and we're ready for it.
You know, that's a theme that I hear from principals when I talk to them all over the district is we are growing. That overall number back above 23,000. I checked actually yesterday, and we're at our high number that we've ever been, a little bit over 23,100. So it's interesting that you're seeing that too.
Right, and we had 3 new students enroll today, and all from out of state actually. So they're coming, but again with the facilities to invite them in and really make an impact on their education.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I know you've been at Northgate for a while, and I know you were planning for this renovation and addition. What long-term goals are the new facilities allowing you to begin to realize?
I think it's just realizing the investment we can make into those programs, like you mentioned. So expanding theater and expanding our fine arts programs to offer more advanced courses. We have space to do those things now. In our science labs, and we were able to outfit those to possibly offer different courses in the future. So, I think a great thing about Coweta County is we find ways to meet the needs of all of our students. And so part of that is facilities and making sure we have the buildings to also support those programs. So it's long-term, we can put some things in place.
And you mentioned, the science labs. We have to mention the food labs.
Oh, yes.
And back in 300, those are awesome.
That's amazing. We actually, today, they're moving in because we got a new kitchen. That was part of the renovation. So they're unpacking today and getting in there. And our fax department is growing astronomically. I mean, that family consumer sciences, our numbers are just bounding. And it provides more space for that and more cooking, and it's really a lot of energy on campus.
And there are lots of other features there. I mean, an upgraded bus loading zone, additional parking spaces. So from an operations and safety perspective, talk about some of the things that we've done up there to improve both the physical plant from an operations standpoint, but also security.
Sure, I think that's part of a big discussion. Obviously, this summer through the training we received at central office with safety, but when you're looking at 2,000 students on campus, I mean, that changes traffic, it changes entrances and exits. But again, with the additional parking, that was huge. Our bus loading now can accommodate, I think we have 18 buses in our first load, so it gets them home a lot quicker, which is nice. And then part of it also was we had the installation of a buzzer system at our front door, and that has been huge. They actually can buzz into attendants to enter the building, and they actually have to buzz into the front office. So it's made that secure vestibule a good point just for safety for the whole campus.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you make. Northgate really now has that secure vestibule where if you come in the front, you're stopping and being buzzed in, not to mention upgraded security features as far as additional cameras, operating system, those types of things.
Yes.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, peace of mind, I think, for everyone. And I know I was out there, I think the first day of school, and we're looking at, things as simple as how we've widened some hallways, widened out the cafeteria, improve some sight lines so you can see from one end of the building to the next.
Absolutely.
Tons of things there.
And it's adjustments that may seem small, but they're very thought out and planned out, and so it doesn't make an impact once we're all in the building together.
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting to point out, I mean, it's well thought out renovation. Many years of planning made this realization or made this renovation a reality. And it's other things, air conditioning units, heating units, things
Lighting.
that, I mean, because Northgate was built in '96,
Yes.
and this is the first full renovation that it's had because we keep those campuses on a schedule.
Absolutely, and you know, like you mentioned, new lighting, that was a huge thing. Now we have LED lighting, you know, on every single hallway, and so that makes a huge impact. Our AC units, we got rekeyed as well. So from a safety standpoint, you know, we were able to go through and get new doors and new locks, and so that adds a layer. So it was well thought out, attention to detail, and it's really let us have a great start to the school year.
So it was time. Why was it
Yes.
time? You were there before the renovation.
I was. You know, I think a student made a quote to me one of the first days of school is, I finally feel like I'm in high school. Like I feel like I'm in high school now. And it was a 25-year-old building, and it was time that it caught up to our growing campus and our growing needs as a district. And it meets all of our needs now. And I think most importantly, it meets the needs for the future too.
Yeah.
So we can grow into it, which I think is important.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's important to remind everyone of is you know, we keep our campuses on a schedule for routine maintenance and renovations. About every 25 or so years,
Yep.
that full renovation comes along. We do smaller things along the way, such as painting, floor covering from time to time. But really, you get to about 25 years in the life
It
of a
was
school,
ready.
it is time, and
Yes.
it was time there.
And it was. And, you know, I think I can't say enough about the process and just being able to get the refresh. Because like you said, it's not only our new building, but it was a renovation of the whole building. I mean, even the internal. And so it was time for it. But again, it was done in a way that we can grow into it for the next 25 years.
Yeah, and I think that planning component is a really important piece. We're set up now at Northgate specifically to be able to grow some. Now,
Yes.
students determine what we do.
Exactly.
You registered 3 today. If that keeps up all year, my
Right.
goodness. So
Right.
we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But it does allow Northgate to be able to plan for that additional growth in the future, so you can continue to serve the kids on the north end of the county.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, thank you for what you do. It's been a tremendous start to the school year. I know new and renovated facilities are a part of that, but it's also a result of a lot of good work by a lot of really good people up there. So thank you for what you've done to ensure a smooth start.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You got it. We'll be back.
The Coweta County School System prioritizes school security. Recently, a representative from the Georgia Emergency Management Agency conducted a safety survey of all 32 schools.
What are we going to be doing today?
School safety is actually our bread and butter. When the unit was originally founded, that's all it handled was school safety. So we offer training for teachers and staff, site assessments, as well as things called the STAR audit, which we try to penetrate into the school unannounced, and some other training that is offered that's listed on the GEMA website. We are another set of eyes to come in and look. As teachers and the staff see this building every day, I walk in, I may see something that they've never noticed before, and it may be something that needs to be taken out or enhanced.
Okay, right around here we have our car waiter area.
Poplar Road Elementary Principal Leslie Goodwin appreciates the survey.
With Mr. Stanfield was so important because he sees things from a different perspective than I do. I am very much want to be the instructional leader of this building. It's hard to be a physical building leader of the building because I don't see everything that some other people see. You know, when you think about while you're doing the drills, if you don't practice something, it doesn't become second nature. And what I want to happen is if something happened, I don't have to think. I go back to my training. I know what I have been told. I know what to have practiced. My body's going to go into a natural mode.
Through more than 20 years of school administration, including 14 years as principal, she has witnessed many changes in school security.
We have risen from just securing the campus to now having cameras to having drills. Fire drill was the only thing I remember doing as a classroom teacher. And now I do code reds, code yellows, code blues, evacuation drills, anything it takes to keep our children safe.
Despite rising incidents of school violence and other physical dangers facing students across the country, Principal Goodwin remains diligent and focused on the details.
It's very important that if we just act like it is every day, just practice these things, if something ever really, God forbid, happened, we'll be ready, and we'll also be that strength for our children in our community.
We're joined now by Coweta County School System Director of Safety and Operations, Ken Kesselring. Ken, welcome.
Thank you. How are you today, sir?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there. This has been a pretty busy time of year, huh?
It has been. We recently had the visit from Homeland Security, Kevin Stansfield, and visit all of our schools. So it's been a interesting and educational first few weeks of school.
Yeah, and of course, safety is always at the top of our minds, but it's really been at the top of everyone's mind since last May, Uvalde. I mean, it really has. And we had some things in place well in advance of that related to student safety.
Right. We'd actually had arranged Kevin's visit prior to all of that. And, many school districts are doing this. And so we were just very fortunate that he could come and spend, a week and a half with us, touring all the schools, meeting with principals, giving us insight into things that we've never thought of before. So it was very good for principals and for everyone in the central office.
Yeah, I was glad we had an opportunity to do that. And when we talk about this visit, a little bit more specifically, I think there are 21 categories that GEMA assesses, 11 pages,
right.
On their particular form. So they go through pretty much every aspect of the facility and the operation and view it through their lens.
Right. You're even talking about things from cybersecurity to playgrounds, to athletic fields, to custodial care of the building. So they look at everything, not just safety from situations like Uvalde, but safety every day, walking down the hall for students. So it was quite insightful, and there's different set of eyes, that was beneficial for us.
And I think it's pretty interesting. A lot of times people may not think about all of the things that as a school district we have to be concerned about. I mean, just yesterday, I read we're one of the largest school districts in the country. Cyber attack.
Right.
All of their systems are down and being held for ransom. Just tons of stuff that we have to think about.
Right. People just view safety through a narrow lens, but there is cybersecurity. There's safety in getting on and off buses, children on buses, every day, parents visiting the school and being safe while they walk through the halls. So, it's a wide range, that's for sure.
So in addition, to inviting others in, such as GEMA Homeland Security, over the years, the system has put some money into school safety, both from a physical standpoint and in other ways, like shield systems and whatnot. Talk a little bit about some of the ways we've used ESPLOS funds over the years to make our schools safer.
We have the shield system, which is a great system. Doors are locked. The only way to people get into the building is through their badges. And if you don't have a badge, you don't get into the building. And if something would arise, doors in the building, in the hallways, close off. We can even use that during a severe storm. Say there was a tornado in the area. Those would close down wings to make sure we limit debris flying through the air. And then our badges, all staff members have badges which can put the school in a lockdown with the press of a few buttons, and that notifies everyone to get into a safe location. And we've even looked at different safe locations than we ever thought before. It's beneficial for all of us.
Not to mention secure vestibules in all elementary and middle schools. That's a big deal. And now we have one, of course, at Northgate High School with the new renovation there. We'll have one at Noonan High School when we complete that building.
Right, and and that's beneficial, and that's great. Those campuses are unique with the number of students attending CEC and dual enrollment, and now we're able to secure those buildings much better than we have in the past.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the scope of our operation, 23,100 give or take kids, another over 3,000 employees. That's a huge task every day to keep everybody working in the right direction and doing the little things that make a big difference in the area of safety.
It really is. And what's been so great is our principals, their willingness to change what they've done for so many years. They're willing to adapt. Teachers are willing to adapt. I mean, it's been amazing to see how everyone has embraced the idea of keeping our children safe and adapting to new technology.
Yeah, but it really is, though, the little things every day.
It is.
You don't need technology to lock a door or a gate.
Right. And that's it. Lock the gates, lock the doors, shut the doors. If a student has to leave the class, make sure they shut the doors. And all of those things are so important, keeping everyone safe.
And just simply being aware of what's going on around and know what the look-fors are. I mean, a lot of that safety stuff is education.
Correct. It is. You know, it's walking the perimeter of the school every day, noticing if something has changed. Teachers observing people outside the building. So all those things have really, really been embraced by the staff this school year.
If you see something, say something.
That's right.
Bottom line, same thing we try to tell kids all the time. If you see something, say something.
Correct.
So, you know, as we look at safety and how things have changed, especially in the last few months, what are your top priorities as we move through the year? What are you focused on a day-to-day basis?
Basically, keeping the processes we have in place going. Teachers know they have to lock their doors. Let's don't get forgetful. If we keep those simple things in focus, if we keep reminding ourselves of the simple things we can do, that's going to be a big step. And if you look at school situations across the country, small things were missed. We got to pay attention to details. And I think we've made a big step toward that with the visit by GEMA.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, you know, part of keeping safety in front of everybody is exactly what we're doing right now.
Right.
Talk about it, communicate what we're doing, communicate what we expect, and then we follow up and we hold ourselves accountable for doing the things on a daily basis that are necessary for us to be able to have school and do it in a safe way.
Right, it is. You know, it's no different than what our teachers ask our students to do every day in the classroom. Pay attention, focus on little things, make yourself better every day, and we're going to keep doing that with staff and students all school year.
Well, I appreciate everything you're doing to help us to be proactive in the area of safety, that attention to those details. Just appreciate your hard work and your effort in that, and it does not go unnoticed. And look forward to taking those recommendations from GEMA and doing the things that we need to do to ensure that everybody is as safe as they can possibly be when they're in our care.
Right. Thank you very much.
We'll be back. Here now at East Coweta High School with head football coach John Small. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Season's off to a fast start. I mean, we're in week 3. It's kind of hard to believe, huh?
Yeah, it goes so fast. You wait so long to get to it, but then it's a blur. It goes so quick.
Yeah, and you know, along those lines, big news professionally and personally last week, your 100th win. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, exciting night. You know, my family was here, and obviously it's always been about the kids and the coaches you get a chance to work with, and kind of embarrassing when people celebrate you as an individual, but you got to give a lot of credit to all the kids I had a chance to coach and the support from my family, and it's just been an awesome ride.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, as you had a chance maybe last Saturday or Sunday morning before you started on this week, when you had a chance to reflect on it, I'm sure a lot of images of kids that you've coached and parents that you've had relationships with over the years came to mind.
Yeah, a lot of people reached out, which made it special. Some people I hadn't talked to in a long time, some former players from 10 years ago that you still know they're there watching you and you're still there for them, and that made it special. And it didn't last long because we were trying to figure out how we could win 101. So.
That's right. That's right. You're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Typical coach, on to the next.
Yeah.
Well, you know, talk a little bit about it. Kind of leads me into what I want to talk to you about. What's athletics mean in the life of a kid? All those kids that you mentioned, and I still call them kids, that reached out to you over the weekend. Talk about what it means to them to be able to participate in athletics.
Well, I think I've always believed that athletics in a school is kind of the stimulus for the academics, because if kids are involved in something, they have adults around them every single day. They're guiding them, they're directing them, they're keeping them focused on what they got to do, and then it carries over into the classroom. Also been a big believer that the way the football season goes kind of is the compass of the school of how it goes the rest of the year. So there's a lot of pressure on that at the beginning of the year, because you want to do well, not only for your kids you coach, but it also impacts the school morale, those types of things. So, you know, it goes back to the recreation leagues, you know, little kids being involved. And we have our youth night coming up in 2 weeks, and, you know, we're inviting all the middle school teams, the campers that came to camp, the Brooks Bears, the Sharpsburg Indians, the Coweta Rec Department. So I hope we have 1,000 kids here to let them see what East Coweta football is all about, but also what the atmosphere at East Coweta is as a whole.
Yeah, and I've heard you say it before, you know, we're not just building academic skills, great, we're building life skills in kids, going through adversity, how you respond to those things. And I've heard you say before, you're trying to develop, of course, players, but you're also trying to develop husbands, fathers, members of the community.
Yeah, I mean, every day in football, I think it's the greatest sport of teaching adversity, because you're going to face it every single day, whether you're in the weight room, whether you're on the practice field, whether you're on the bus to the game, in the game. And so every opportunity we have as coaches that we can pull a lesson from that and teach them about life, then when they're 30, they'll reflect back on that and go, I remember I handled this tough situation, I can handle this, you know. Yeah. And that's what I pull a lot of things from, is the coaches that poured into me back in the day. And I've always been a big believer that, you know, I love to win, I love to compete, but I'm a firm believer that when I die one day, I'm not taking wins with me, but we can take as many kids as we can. So.
That's right. That's right. And you know, you live that out in the way you schedule. I've watched you since you've been here and how you schedule. You don't schedule 5 wins before region play. You schedule some adversity so you can build character in your team.
Yeah, and a lot of times people thought I was crazy for doing that.
I know I did. No.
Yeah, but I've always been a big believer that if you want to be the best, you got to play the best in order to beat the best. And you may have some setbacks during that and some losses, but if you can learn from it and build off of it, it pays off down the road come playoff time. And so we may have a lot more wins had we scheduled differently, but it's not about that. But playing tough people keeps your kids alert every week. They stay focused, they stay locked in. And with the recruiting world today, you want to give kids an opportunity to compete against the best so colleges can see them playing good teams. And when colleges come look at our kids, they go, well, y'all play a tough schedule, so we know they're good players if they're making plays against these teams. So we kind of have a history of that.
Well, you're definitely living that out. Hillgrove this week, then I know you got Lambert coming up. Of course, Carrollton's on the schedule, Lowndes on the schedule. There's no easy ones out there.
No easy ones. Plus, it challenges you as a coach, too. And if you're trying to grow young coaches and develop them, you know, playing easy teams doesn't help you grow, you know. So we're trying to develop young coaches as well, because I'm not going to do this forever, and we got to have guys that can step in and take over and do those types of things.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the 100th win. I know you don't want to hear it, but congratulations. And thank you for all you're doing to develop these kids out here, and, you know, to football's a heartbeat of this community, and the way you run your program, the way you guys go about it, you represent East Coweta very well. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you. You make it easy because of the support you give us in this county, and a lot of people don't have that, so we appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you for that. That's all we got, folks. John Small, head coach at East Coweta High School. It really has been the best start of a school year that I can remember. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today as we've shared with you some important updates on safety and security. I also want to encourage you to continue to watch the show in the future. We're going to bring you some exciting updates on graduation rates, SAT scores, also going to give you some information on how we put our school calendars together for future years. So until then, this is Evan Horton signing off. And I'll remind you, tune in to CCS-TV. Folks, I encourage you, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. The more people we can reach, the more we can get the word out about the great stories that are going on in the Coweta County school system. That YouTube channel is CCS-TV.